Hi, Orange Girl here with another scrapbooking process video for you. I'm working with Shimmerz Paints today. And just as a reminder, if you choose to purchase some Shimmerz, go ahead and put my name in the comment section and you'll get a little freebie in with your order. All right, so I am working with this cut file. I went ahead and I cut out these little tropical flowers. They are from Clique Kits, and I cut out a bunch of flowers, and then just out of white cardstock, and then I pulled out, because they look so tropical, I pulled out the Wild Heart crepe paper collection. I really like this collection a lot, and it has a lot of tropicals in it, so I used one of the papers, one of the 12 by 12 papers, to cut some little sprigs of greenery to go around my flowers, some leaves and such, and then I am going to back these flowers with this paper from the small paper pad that they have that comes with their collection. I'm going to have some of the kind of peachy color, kind of salmony color. I'm going to have some pink, and I'm going to have some yellow. In fact, when I do this, I go ahead and I back each one like this. This is how I typically do backing cut files, and a lot of people do it a lot of different ways, and there's no right way or wrong way, of course. This is the way I do it probably 90% of the time, is I go ahead and I just glue it down, and then I cut around the outside, and I cut out all of the parts behind it, and I try to trim it. When I'm doing this, I'm kind of trimming it underneath the white part, if that makes sense, and I usually have pretty good luck with that. So I go through and I do all of those, and I actually end up deciding I need a few more, so I make some that are a little bit smaller, and I make some smaller sprigs as well, and I end up backing all of those. So my idea at this point is I'm going to take some of my Shimmerz products, and I'm going to go ahead and do exactly what you see here, make the inside a little bit darker. I end up hating that. I wanted to add some depth, so it didn't work. For me anyway, for this layout. And so I decided, nope, I'm not going to do that one. And I kind of changed gears. I still wanted to add a little bit of color so it's not quite so flat. And so I do that, and I just concentrate on staying on the colored part, the part that I backed. And then I just lightly touch the white. So when you see the close-ups, you'll be able to see that I do lightly touch the white inside of that flower, but it's ever so slight, almost like it's a little outlined kind of in the color. So you can see the difference there between those flowers before and after. So I used three. I used Creameez, Trippin in the Tropics, which is kind of, I did those with the kind of orangish colored ones. And then Strawberry Fields, which is another Creameez, which I did on the pink. And then I use Good as Gold, which is an Inklingz product, and it is fantastically shimmery and beautiful. And it's my new go-to gold for whenever I'm doing anything for splatters or anything like that. I think you'll see me using Good as Gold, because it's awesome. Okay, so you'll get to see that in the close-up. So I use that on the yellow ones. What I'm doing here is I'm just kind of trying to place them around my photo and get an idea. What I end up doing off camera, I thought I was on camera and I wasn't, is I go ahead and I glue them together to each other, and because I think I'm going to do some mixed media behind it, and I don't end up doing that, but I do end up moving it over. You'll see that in a second. So my photo is of my daughter when we were in Gulf Shores, Alabama over spring break, and she is trying to climb, or she is acting as if she's trying to climb this tree, and I go through the ephemera because I'm looking for a good title, and as I go through the ephemera, I find this card that says Plant Lady, which I thought was hilarious and fit the photo really well. And so I end up using that as my title, and you'll see that I take the card, there it is right there, and I just cut around it. See that? So Instead of making you watch me place all of that over again, I moved it over off camera. And so now it's basically in the same location as it was. It's just moved over to the right a little bit. So now what I'm doing is I'm taking those same colors and I'm just making a border over on the left side. So I'm just making some stripes. I go ahead and I use my heat gun to get it dry so that when I put another layer on, it actually acts as another layer and the paints don't mix very much, but also so that it can make the color intensify in parts. So I add a little bit of that gold, which is called Good as Gold, and it's super shimmery. It's just gorgeous. And then I'm going to also, I think I add all three colors to this side. Then I add a few little splatters, but I'm not using them really as splatters. I'm using them just so that I can add, because I'm going to put a couple of flowers over there. You see them over there on the left. I'm going to put a couple of flowers in that area. And I decided that I needed a little green over there. But I didn't really like the idea of painting green over there because I didn't know if it would muddy up too much. And so what I end up doing is something that I've been doing a lot lately, which is I end up ripping the side of my page and adding some green, that same paper that I used for the leaves. I use that same paper over on the side. So that's basically my layout, and I add some embellishments here in a few minutes. I've got probably 5 minutes of video left, and you'll get to see me add some embellishments, and I kind of like how this turns out in the end. So my picture, we were in Gulf Shores, and she is just silly, always. And if you watch my videos, you probably have gathered that she's pretty silly. And she is waiting for us to be ready to go down to the beach. And so she is outside our window. We were on the first floor, and she's right outside our window, and she's trying to climb this tree, and she's like, come on you guys, let's go. And she's now back home she always climbs trees, but they're not palm trees, so they're a little bit easier because they have branches that you can climb. And but it was just a funny tree, and so then the idea of Plant Lady being the title just made me laugh so hard. And then there are some other little sayings that I find in the ephemera and on the stickers here that I'll add that just match the whole sentiment. I'm not really telling the major story here with this one. I'm just using some of the items that are available to me in the collection to add kind of a little idea of what the story was like. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to glue everything down, which is kind of boring, so I sped it up pretty fast. And I do add, in 3 or 4 different places, I add some tangled thread. I think I stuck with pink and yellow. And then I add a little subtitle. I found a sticker that says Live in the Dream. So it's Plant Lady, Live in the Dream, which I thought, given my sense of humor anyway, maybe no one else will think it's funny, but I thought it was pretty funny. So I add that, and then I found a couple of other little cards. You might have saw them, you might have seen them when I was very first laying this out. I pulled a couple of cards out that I thought had good sayings on them. I found one that is in yellow, and the saying was, when you stop and look around, life is pretty amazing, which I thought really fit this whole idea of her and climbing and being where we were. Life was pretty amazing. And it's pretty amazing all the time, but the atmosphere there was pretty awesome. So I went ahead and add that. I will go ahead and add that a little bit later. I also found this card and decided, because I had all that Good as Gold Inklingz on there, I wanted to add a few other pops of gold. Plus the part where it says Live in the Dream, the little subtitle, also is in gold. And so I found that butterfly card that had these butterflies on them that were lined in gold. So I went ahead and added that. Right there is that sentiment, when you stop and look around, life is pretty amazing. And then this is another one that I end up putting at the top. I move it around I think a few times, but it ends up there. It says always choose adventure. And then I add one more saying at the bottom, which actually I knew from the very beginning, as soon as I saw it, that I was going to use this one. And that is, it says celebrate the victories no matter how small, which I thought was funny. It's a great sentiment as well, but I thought it was funny because she's like 2 feet off the ground at most, like maybe a foot. So um, I just thought it kind of went with the whole idea as well. So I'm looking through, I couldn't decide if I really wanted that always choose adventure up there just because I wasn't sure it looked quite right. And I thought about putting another flower up there, but I ended up going with that. And then that's about it. I add some splatters. So as soon as I get finished getting this all glued down, I do add the same, actually I think I just use Trippin in the Tropics and Good as Gold, and I add some splatters around the main area of my layout. And that's about it. The close-ups are coming here pretty quickly, and you'll be able to see the shimmer in that gold. It is just gorgeous. Okay, so this is where I'm doing splatters. I did water it down just a little bit so that I could get some good splatters going. And then I do go ahead and wipe it off so that it's not so out there. And then I glue that, I think I end up gluing that off screen because I wanted it to dry first, because inevitably when I glue things down after I've splattered, I smear it. So there you go. You can see the inside of those flowers where I added the shimmers, and there's that gold that is just gorgeous. Thanks a lot for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed this layout. Please let me know if you have any questions and I'll try to respond. Thanks a lot. See you next time.